order to preserve the original artistic intent of the tested feature film, the following content is in 4K UHD HDR10. The goal is to show you the original HDR images without tone mapping. For this, you need to watch on a HDR-compatible display system and application. A version with a better encoding is available for download on the labodj.com. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Please feel free to subscribe, like and share if you like this content. This content is presented by HDmoviesource, online retailer of Blu-ray and Ultra HD Blu-ray. Hello everyone and welcome to this video dedicated to the Ultra HD Blu-ray test of Zack Snyder's Justice League. In this video I will briefly talk about the movie, the characteristics of the original master, the content of the disc, the picture analysis and the conclusion. I told you that I would test from time to time films that are important to me on this channel. I might as well be honest with you, this one is not really part of it. I'm not going to go into details, but generally speaking, superhero movies, whether they come from Marvel or DC, are not really my cup of tea, so don't take it personally against Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, who made among other things Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. If I'm interested in this film, it's for the good and simple reason it's a real UFO in the cinematographic landscape. If we try to summarize the facts very briefly, the film was made after Batman vs Superman, which was not as successful as expected. Warner Bros. Studio then asked Zack Snyder to revise his copy on Justice League when the project was already well underway. Arrived in post-production, Snyder is victim of a family drama. His daughter, Autumn, following a serious depression, ended her life. At the time, his relationship with Warner was not really the easiest. He preferred to retire, official version, with his wife, who also produced the film. Warner then asked Joss Whedon, also known for having directed the two first Avengers movies, to do a complete overhaul of the film because obviously the first version edited by Snyder did not please at all. Result: 2 months of reshoot, a maximum duration of 2 hours, new soundtrack, new color grading, more saturated, changed design of Steppenwolf, and more fun. We all know the result, the film is butchered in all directions and the release ends with rather disappointing results. Fans cried out and a movement was launched on networks asking for the release of the version of Zack Snyder. The famous Release the Snyder Cut. After many twists and turns, the new version was released. Expected as the messiah by many fans, the Snyder Cut is now available for streaming on HBO Max in a brand new 4-hour cut. Scenes have been reshooted, new character design for Steppenwolf, visual effects redone, new color grading, and a new format that will be much talked about. All Joss Whedon scenes were removed, and the final lens finally allows to exploit all the narrative elements in a more successful way. The movie was shot in film with Arri Light and Studio camera and Arri 235 and 435 cameras with light Sumilux C-series lenses. On the Whedon version, Arri Alexa 65 was used, and on Snyder Cut, Red Monstro with Canon lenses was used in addition. The 2017 version was finalized with a 2K digital intermediate with a 1:78 ratio, while the 2021 version is a 4K digital intermediate presented in a 1:33 ratio. Two versions have benefited from a Dolby Vision finalization. Then let us linger a little with the format on this film. It was shot mostly on Super 35mm. The 35mm offers a window of 22mm by 16. The Super 35 offers a larger window, there is no more optical track on the side, the size is 24mm by 18 on 4 perforations. This film was not shot in IMAX. The film IMAX is 70mm by 38.5 on 15 perforations, which gives an image with a gigantic resolution. To come back to our Super 35mm, the image was captured in 4:3, which gives a ratio of 1:33. For the 2017 version, the film was finalized in 1:1780, which is full screen on a 16:9 TV. They took the 4:3 version and cut the edges so that it fills the 1:78 frame. For the new version, Zack Snyder opted to finalize his film in the native format, so 1:33. And the only way to fit 1:33 into 1:78 is to have black bars on the sides. Knowing that the film was finalized with the aim of being broadcast in streaming, thus on majority of 16:9 screen, that was highly criticized. At the end, we quickly get used to this difference, and after 4 hours of film, we do not really pay attention to this. About the audio, the film was presented on the following formats: Dolby Digital, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Surround 7.1, 12 digital soundtracks, Oro 11.1, Sonic's DDDP, DTS:X, IMAX 6 tracks for the theatrical release of Justice League in 2017. This edition is offered with no less than 4 discs. Each version, Ultra HD and HD, is spread over 2 discs. The 4K version is presented to us in HEVC HDR10 10 bits for 2.0 and the HD version in 1080p Rec 709 8 bits for 2.0. Although the film has benefited from a Dolby Vision finalization, it's unfortunately not available on the physical support. In addition to the classic scene breakdown, we have the possibility to access the different parts that make up the film. We find English, French and German Dolby Atmos tracks, and the rest of the tracks are for the most part in Dolby Digital 5.1, and I like to tell you that the mixers have done their best. As extra, we find a 25 minutes making of on the creation of the film populated with images of shootings. I don't hide the fact that on a film of this magnitude, we would have liked to see a little more of behind the scenes. Whether you like or not Zack Snyder, he offers us some absolutely incredible shots. The little that we see of the images of the shooting let us foresee the titanic work accomplished in post-production. There would be so much to show on this kind of film. We will not lie to ourselves, the difference between the 2017 version and this one is really incredible. We can't talk about difference because it's not the same movie at all. The quality of the UHD Blu-ray is superb. The compression varies between 30 and 97 megabits per second. We have a grain quite present, but that fits perfectly to this universe. The image is splendid, and the HDR10 version offers us a very detailed rendering. The image is superbly defined. The details on the armor of Steppenwolf are quite amazing. The film is very dark. The blacks are very deep, and everything has been thought to deliver the darkest image possible, from the sets to the costumes to accessories. We have very high light peaks, reaching sometimes 1800 nits. Even when image is very dark, there is always light element in the frame to deliver a very nice dynamic range. On the other hand, even if the HDR version will give you the impression of having deeper blacks, there is not much more information in the dark areas. Regarding the colorimetry, the color grading is very different from the previous version. It will certainly not be the most colorful movie of the year, but the color palette is beautiful. We have a predominance of grey, green and ochre tone. There is a lot of explosion scenes that take the advantage of the white gamut offered by HDR on many occasions. Same for the sequences with flash, the saturation in the highlights and the blue dominance are superbly well reproduced. The work on the color grading is simply magnificent. It was done by Stephen Sonnenfeld, who was already in charge of the color grading of the previous version. The film has an absolutely fantastic artistic direction. There is a real coherence during all the movie, something that was for me cruelly missing in the previous version. Even if there are persistent criticisms on the visual effects, the whole is quite incredible. We are talking about a 4-hour monster that required a titanic work. Everything has been redone, almost. Remember, the format is not the same as the size of the digital intermediate. VFX had to be modified and adapted. We can see it here, the background is different, the level of blur is different, and it's like this in all the movie. Almost all the shots have been modified. We are talking about an additional of $70 million only for the VFX. If we compare the HDR version to the SDR version, we can see that the highlights are much more defined in HDR. The dynamic range is quite impressive. I let you enjoy with few examples. My opinion doesn't matter. It's a movie asked by the fans and made for the fans that gathers as much as it divides, and that has unleashed passions as much as hatred. This show is epic. It's a great achievement for a director who carried his project to the end. And this Ultra HD edition is the best way to enjoy this movie. With one detail. I would like to understand why Dolby Vision disappears from physical media to be only available on streaming platforms. This test is now over. Don't hesitate to like, share and subscribe. Take care of yourself and see you soon.